Welcome to the Black and White of It podcast, a podcast where two very different women discuss all things life. Our hope is that by discussing our different and similar perspectives on many aspects of life, people will consider viewpoints that they never thought about before. And now, here are your hosts, Donna and Amy, back with another great topic. All right, let's start the show.
Welcome back to the Black and White of It podcast. I am your host for today, Donna. Today I am doing a solo episode on Walt Disney World plus size edition, but there will be some tips and tricks that anyone can use or information that might be beneficial to anyone. I decided to go ahead and do this because when I was looking for advice before I went and while I was at Disney World, blogs and YouTube videos were very instrumental in helping me decide what I could do or not do. And I will make sure to have an accompanying blog post with this so that it could be more easily found and used in case of someone wanting to just look up the information versus having to write it down while listening, or, so they can screenshot information if they would like. So I will make sure to have an accompanying detailed blog post. But before we get too far into the topic today, let's go ahead and do the quote of the week. And author is Walt Disney. When you're curious, you find lots of interesting things to do. And I really like this one because to me, it's basically saying, if you're curious about what it feels like to ride a ride or eat a certain food or visit a certain city, visit somewhere new or different, then you are more likely to find lots of interesting things to do. You'll be curious as to what you can do here or there or what their food tastes like I've just mentioned. So I thought it was a really great quote. And that is our quote of the week. All right, let's just jump right on in to my thoughts, what I did, any types of tips that I may have for you. I will start off by saying there are lots of Disney podcasts. There's several. I've not listened to any, but I just went ahead and quickly took a look before I decided to record to see what was out there. I have no idea what kind of information. I'm sure there's plenty of tips and tricks and that sort of thing. I'm not sure if it mentions plus size or not, but they're there if you needed more information than what I can give you in this podcast. So, day one, we did Magic Kingdom. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything and get my picture in front of the castle. For those who have not listened to the travel episode, I went to Disney World with my, at the time, 18-year-old brother last year in July of 2021. So, we're not even a year yet where I went on this trip. Things have already changed. There was still a lot of COVID stuff. We had to be masked. There was a lot of things closed, a lot of things we couldn't do. Maybe not a lot, but there were some things that were closed, some things that we couldn't do, like meeting with the characters and stuff like that. So that probably has changed by now. If not, hopefully it has or will soon. So the first day we went to Magic Kingdom and I had to take a picture in front of the castle. So that was the very first thing we did. I'll say from the parking lot, because I did have a car, from the parking lot, we took the boat from the parking lot to the entrance of Magic Kingdom. You could also use the monorail, and there might be a third option. But I'll tell you, I was sweating like a pig. I'm a sweater, so just because I'm plus size doesn't necessarily mean that everybody else sweats that way. But I had my makeup all done and my hair all done just for this one picture, and then I didn't care. I didn't care what I looked like after that. But I was sweating so bad. But I pulled it together to get some pictures, but they looked awful. I will put in here that I paid $100 for the picture plan. So whenever I was somewhere where there was a photographer or during a ride, they would take a picture and automatically came to my phone, and then I could download it to my phone to keep. So if you have the funds to do that, I would recommend it because they can capture things and do certain poses, and they put little images in and stuff like that that you might not, think to do or can do with your own camera. So they were awful. I looked a sweaty, awful mess. Anyway, we kept it moving, and the first ride was the teacups. I had no issues whatsoever fitting on the teacups. No problem at all. My stomach might have slightly touched the spinner thing, but I was not uncomfortable at all. Felt fine, felt good, whatever. I will go on here and remind everyone, or tell everyone, I don't think I've ever said my size before. So I am a size 20, not an 18-20, but a true 20, probably in some cuts were 22. At the time of this vacation, I probably weighed around maybe 270 something pounds. And I am heavy all over. So it's not like I'm just super top heavy and not heavy at the bottom. I have large arms, a large stomach, large breasts, large thighs. My legs themselves are small, but that's the only thing that's small. My calves are small. They're quote unquote straight sized or whatever. They're not plus size calves. Everywhere else is about the same. I'm not one of those people that it's distributed basically evenly all over. So that gives you a good idea of kind of my size. I'm only 5'4", so I'm short. So height does not help me anything with that weight. There is a lot of weight. So let me continue on here. So from there, I believe we went to the Little Mermaid. And that's because I grew up on the Little Mermaid and there wasn't a line yet. I was ecstatic. It was so good. Plus size friendly for sure. No problems in the little seashell that we rode around in. And oh my gosh, the animatronics or whatever that they used were so great. They were so on point. They were so realistic. It was awesome. No problems fitting there. Then from there, I can't tell you exactly in order. Not that you really care about that. From there, I can't tell you exactly what we did next. I think it was Haunted Mansion. Again, it kind of has the kind of seating like the Little Mermaid, and no problems fitting in there whatsoever. And there was a picture opportunity there. I don't know that ours ever came up though. And that's another thing. If you're on a ride and your wristband doesn't pick up well or something, it could miss your picture. So that's something to keep in mind when you're thinking about investing your money in that. But it wasn't really scary at all. I thought that it wasn't animatronics. It was more of like video or iRobot where the old man, just came up digitally. I'm blanking on the word for that, but it was a lot of that in there. I thought it was just really well put together. My brother was disappointed that it wasn't scary. So there you go with that. Then we ate just whatever restaurant we could find and get in and out of easily. I will talk about a couple of restaurants, but there was nothing special about our lunch restaurant. I had a hot dog. I think he had some type of burger. Then we did Mickey's Philharmonic Magic. That was a 3D show. Super cute. Love that. Again, at that time I was 37. He was 18. We both enjoyed it. I really thought it was the cutest thing. Then we probably went on over to the People Mover, which basically just kind of drives you around, not around the park, but you're up and you can see lots of areas of Magic Kingdom. Anybody could fit in these. There's no straps or anything. You're just basically sitting on something and it's moving you around. It's a nice little break, just to and then it's a good way to kind of see what else is out there that you may want to do. Then we did Space Mountain. Loved it. I'm a roller coaster person, and I forgot that because it's been so long before that trip that I had been on a roller coaster because I was afraid. Like Six Flags, of course, lots of those are around and you can usually get to those pretty easily, but I knew I couldn't fit those rides anymore. So Space Mountain was the first roller coaster we got on, and it was fantastic. It's fast. There's no big dips. It's just super fast, and I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. And I fit no problem. Excuse me. And I will try to include some body pictures in the blog as well so that you could get an idea of how proportioned I was at that time. I'll use pictures from the trip. Okay. So then after Space Mountain, we did our last thing that we did at Magic Kingdom, which was the Seven Dwarfs. So this was the first ride where I was concerned I wouldn't be able to fit. I had to stop and look up stuff on my phone to see kind of what the issue may be before we even got into line. And so what it is your legs. It's not really anything to do with your belly or your chest or anything like that. It's your legs, because what they use to hold you in goes on the outside of your legs. So if you have very large legs, you might not could fit in between those, that apparatus that would go on both sides of the legs. If you do, you might be very, very, very uncomfortable. Same thing for people with very long legs. It may be very difficult for you to sit in that position. Now, granted, the ride is a couple minutes. I mean, it's not that long. But if things like that were to give you anxiety or severe pain causes you issues or something like that, I would probably skip this ride if you think you can't fit. I would recommend you Google this too about the kind of the height where people start to have problems. But it was pretty tight on my thighs because I couldn't understand based on what I was seeing, like what were they talking about? It's your legs, until I realized it goes on both sides of your legs. Your legs are pressed together and smushed in between the thing that they pull down to keep you secure. So just keep that in mind if you have really big legs. Again, my thighs are pretty big. I can't give you a number as to the measurement, but again, I'm a size 20. They're a good size, and I fit. I thought I was going to be super uncomfortable, but I had a blast on that one too because it's a semi roller coaster, no big dips. And it was great. I really, really, really enjoyed it. But that's the first ride that you want to keep in mind and think about if that's one that you're wanting to ride. Okay, we were done. We were done after that. And I think I had dinner reservations at the boat at Disney Springs. And so we left Magic Kingdom, went to Disney Springs, and had an early dinner at the boat. Now, I was disappointed because they had the screens down on the porch area where you could see the water well. And so I wanted to have a real water dining experience so I could see where the car boats went by or anything else that was going by. I mean, I saw one, but it just wasn't what I wanted. And I got a crab cake, I think, and it was not that good. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't anything special. And I'll say the same for most of the restaurants we went to while we were there. There wasn't anything special. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't, I mean, I'm guessing you're not going to Disney to just eat your way through Disney, but, and there might be some restaurants like that, but the ones we went to were not like that. So after that, we went back to Magic Kingdom to watch the fireworks, which was awesome. Awesome. And I had said a few years ago, I've seen fireworks. I don't need to see them again. They're all the same. But of course, Disney, it's different. They really put on a show. It goes with music and they have like a script and all this stuff, hanging over the castle and stuff. It was fantastic. And then I believe we took the monorail back to the parking lot. If you are driving, make sure you remember where you're parked. Make sure you get an eye for, whatever parking lot you're in and then what letter, so like G or H, what character. They try to put characters up there too to help you remember where you're going. Luckily, my phone and my car are synced, so the one time where we really didn't think about it when we left the car, we were able to get back to it because my phone told me which way to go to get to the car. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm sure most people think about that, but in all the excitement and rush trying to get there and get going, we forgot, or I forgot, whatever. But we found it. We were fine. Also, I will take a little commercial break here to say that we stayed at Coronado Springs, and that is one of the Disney resorts. It was nice. We didn't stay in the newer part. My brother, I think, was expecting something a little bit bigger, but I thought the room was pretty nice. Had a little Disney Mickey Mouse towel when we got there. Had his name on the TV telling him happy birthday. It was really, really, to me, it was really nice. You could use your Disney badge to get in and out of the room. Your wristband, your Disney wristband to get in and out of the room. So that was great. And with that came free parking at all of the parks. So that was one reason we decided to have a car, because with COVID and stuff, the buses weren't running as normal. We didn't want to be on a bus with people like that. And it was just quicker to go to and fro at our own pace, and it wasn't any additional cost. So that's a little side note. There's lots of other Disney resorts that you could try. There's also some regular hotels at the very end of Disney that will probably be cheaper. And if I go back, unless I go with a group, and the prices is divvied up, I probably would stay at a hotel at the end of the resort. But it was nice to be on the resort. It wasn't far. You could get to and from your room easily. I would recommend that part if you can afford it, or if you want to make sure you put your money aside so that you can be close. Okay, so day 2, we went to Animal Kingdom, and we went early in the morning. As early as we could have probably gotten there a little bit earlier. But if you get there, let's say 30 minutes to an hour before the gate, quote unquote, opens, then you can go ahead and get in line for Avatar. I don't think my brother understood what was going on. He was taking his little time getting ready and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, hurry up, we gotta go. Because if you don't go first thing in the morning, you are going to spend 1.5 to 2.5 hours in line for the Avatar ride. So we went and we waited in line, but they didn't start the ride. So once they opened the gates and let this huge crowd of us in, we all ran to the Avatar ride, which the exact name of the ride is Avatar Flight of Passage. And we stood in line until they opened it, but it was no time. Like we got there so early, we didn't really have to wait. The line was even long then, and it takes a while for you to wind through all the stuff, but it moved very, very quickly. It was great. Like, I appreciated that we got there early, we got on. And so this was the other ride where I had some concern, because the lady that I saw, there was some things that wrap around your leg, your calf, and they push against your back. And she could not fit because of one of those. I think it was the legs. I think it was both at one point, and then maybe the second time it was the legs. But again, my legs are regular size. My calves are regular size. No problem with that part going around my legs. But my back, she did have to push it in one click for it to tighten up. But after that, it was no problem. I was thinking, oh gosh, here she comes. She's going to tell me to get off. I was about to freak out. But she pushed it in. All was fine. I did have to pass her my hat because of the way that they put the glasses on you. It would have fallen off. So it's kind of like a 3D ride. So, but it's fantastic. Best ride. Best ride. It was so good. I can't praise it enough. It was my very favorite ride the whole time. Okay, so then I believe we went to the Navi River journey. I was not impressed with that. There again was some good animatronics or virtual things in there that was super neat if you liked Avatar. But there wasn't really anything exciting. You're really literally just floating along in a boat looking at stuff that looked like Avatar. The line didn't take us super long in line, but I could skip that if I went back. We also went to watch Festival of the Lion King, which was a great Lion King show. That was really fun with the live actors. That was really, really good. We did the safari and got to see all kinds of safari animals, elephants, zebras, I think cheetahs, rhinos. There was baby rhino out there, just all that kind of stuff, giraffes. It was really neat. And you're in like a safari-like vehicle. So that was really fun. We also did It's Tough to Be a Bug. That was the cutest, funnest thing too. Again, I believe it was 3D. They had some, I don't want to give too much away on what was there. Again, I'm 38. Well, I was 37 then. He's 18. And we both enjoyed that little show. It's not a ride, but it's a little show, and it had effects that were super fun. So young and old kids alike would probably enjoy this one, and no problems fitting in any of those. They're basically wide open, so that there wasn't any problems there. And then we did the Tree of Life. Again, not a ride, but a beautiful carved tree with all kinds of animals in it. Absolutely beautiful. We took a bunch of pictures with that. And then I think the last ride there was the dinosaur ride. Again, no problems fitting into the Jeep. And we kind of went on a dinosaur journey. Fun, kind of like a roller coaster. I really, really, really enjoyed that one as well. Then it started to rain, so we left. And it rained a little bit every single day we were there. But that's the thing about Florida. They have pop-up showers. And it's meant to probably help cool you down. And it does. It really does help to cool things down a little bit. So I'll do a few more. I'll do some items at the end that I had with me that is probably going to be helpful for you all. All right. Then we actually took a nap. We took a nap. And by then, my dogs were barking. My feet were in such pain. But this is why they tell you to bring a couple of pair of tennis shoes and swap them out. Because for whatever reason, staying on one pair the whole time is not good for your feet. So I would recommend a different pair of tennis shoes for each day. I'm not saying like if you're there 5 days, you need 5 pair of tennis shoes. If you have them, I would, but if you don't, just make sure you're rotating them out. Make sure you're resting your feet as needed. But we were both tired. We went and kind of relaxed. Then we got back up and went back to Animal Kingdom to eat at the Rainforest Cafe, which again, cute little effects, nice little ambiance and background. Food was fine. Wasn't just amazing. I had a drink. It was fine. I would go for the effect more than the food. And so then we left. We didn't go back into Animal Kingdom. We left and went to Epcot. And luckily, when we first got to Epcot, Mickey and Minnie were out there. We were able to take pictures with them from a distance. So it wasn't like a meet and greet. I got to put my hand or arm around them or whatever. But they were kind of like behind some bushes. And so doing like a selfie, I could see them in the background of my picture. I was so excited because I didn't think we'd get to see any characters up close. Winnie the Pooh and gang were at Magic Kingdom up like at the top of like a building on a balcony when we were leaving, but they weren't close enough for us to take pictures or anything. So we got to see them as soon as we got there. So I was so glad that we went. But there we got on the Spaceship Earth, which is the ride inside the big Epcot ball. And that was more educational. It wasn't meant to be anything. I guess if you're into history, if you're a history buff or something like that, that would be super fun for you. But it wasn't super exciting or anything for me. It wasn't dull. Like, I enjoyed learning the things that I did learn, but I guess I didn't know what to expect in that ride. And it was neat. No problems fitting whatsoever. Also at Epcot, we did Test Track, which was the race cars. No problem fitting. Again, something super fast. Zoom, zoom. Loved it. Loved it. If you can't tell, I like fast rides, but it was great. Like super, super, super awesome. And then the last thing that we rode at Epcot was Mission Space, and they had two different sides. We went on the rougher side. There's a side for people that can't handle the kind of movements that it would have been. We went on the bad side. Again, no problems fitting. I didn't have any issues. I wasn't really concerned. If you have issues with vertigo, if you have, which I do have hypertension, and I believe that was one of the rides it was like, don't get on, but I got on. Don't be like Donna. Follow the rules. But they told you not to close your eyes or not to lay your head down, because it's like you are blasting off from Earth, like you're really going into space. Of course, as close as you probably can get. And I could see where someone could easily get sick in there. So just keep that in mind. But they make it very clear to you before you go on the ride. You know, there's two different sides. Please pick the one that's most appropriate for you. But I enjoyed that ride. Once I kind of got my bearings, I was fine. I enjoyed it. I would do it again. No problem. And then I think we did some souvenir shopping at Epcot as well. The wine and food festival was going on, and because I had my underage brother, I didn't even try to taste any of the wines or foods. Plus, by the end of the day, you're so wiped from depending on the time of year you go. It's probably sunny all year long regardless, but it was July, so it was hot, it was sunny, and you're tired, and we left. That was all she wrote for us for that day. And we only stayed the 3 days. All right, and so on the last day, we went to Hollywood Studios, and right off the bat, we got on Mickey Vacation Fun. So cute, so fun, no problems fitting whatsoever. I really enjoyed that. It was very different than what I'd seen before, so I really super, super duper enjoyed that one. That one was super cute. Then I think from there, we did a little bit of walking around. There was lots of Star Wars stuff and, movie stuff. So I can't remember if it was some type of Star Wars thing that my brother kind of walked through, was interested in all the little stuff. And I just kind of sat and rested my feet while he walked around. Then we went to watch Frozen. I hadn't even ever seen the cartoon when we went to this show. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. We did have to wait outside because only X amount of people, of course, can fit in there. So you kind of wait outside, but there's several different showings. And so you just try to get there a few minutes before the next showing and just kind of sit and wait until they open the doors. And I think from there we had lunch. I don't remember where we even ate there. So probably nothing exciting or special. I think I had pizza. There was a pizza place that I went to. It took forever to get stuff. He didn't want to eat because he had eaten him some ice cream. So I ate some pizza, and then later on I think he had something at it's a place that sells whoopie pies, and I had a whoopie pie there. After lunch we went to Muppet Vision 3D, and that was another little show. It was cute. It was not as good as the 3D Mickey show that we had done the first day. I would say it's so probably better for little kids, maybe not as exciting for the adults. We also, I misspoke. Mickey's Vacation Fun was a movie. Old school Mickey black and white shows. It was so cute. My brother loved it, said he had seen all of them on TV and he really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It was Mickey and Minnie getting ready for vacation. And it was a cute little, there's mishaps and all that kind of stuff. But I misspoke. The ride that I said was Mickey Vacation Fun was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So sorry. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was the first ride that we got on when we were there. That was super cute and very different than anything that I had been on before. Then we did Star Tours, which was a Star Wars ride. And that was the second favorite. Very similar to Avatar as far as the feeling of it goes. We really liked that one. I actually ended up being the bad guy that they were trying to catch and my people were surrounding me trying to keep me safe. So that was so cute. It was tons of fun. I really wish I could have gotten a picture of myself up on the screen, but everything was packed away. I didn't know I was going to be picked to be the villain. Oh, we're getting long here. I'm trying to try to wrap up here in the next 5 minutes or so. To the end of Star Wars. Rise of the Resistance is also at Hollywood Studios, and you have to get in a queue to even get in line for this ride, or you did last year. And it was packed. We couldn't get in. I think they opened it up at 2 times, first thing in the morning and then in the afternoon for you to get in the queue. We were not able to because he said he didn't want to until he saw it, and then it was too late. So if that's something you're interested in doing, prepare to do that and get up early to get yourself in the queue the day that you're going. We didn't get to ride that. And then lastly, we did Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run. And there's a whole Star Wars section at Hollywood Studios. Huge, like a whole little town. It is very detailed. They even have drink carts in whatever language that is. I'm not a Star Wars person, so I can't tell you what that's meant to be. But it was super cute, so detailed. The costumes, the rides that were fantastic. I was very impressed. This ride was okay. It was a little bit similar to Star Tours, but you're actually trying to fight. It's like you're like a 3D video game. It's like you're in a video game and there's 4 of you and each person has a job to do. And you're trying to do what you're supposed to do to help you fight off people or fight off whatever you're fighting off. So not a bad ride, but it's probably not in my top 3. So that is everything I wanted to mention about the rides and where we stayed. We did before we got there the day before we started going to the parks, and we went to the ice bar, that little ice bar thing that day before. It wasn't as big as I thought. It was just kind of odd. It was more for pictures, more of a picture opportunity than actually sitting down and having fun. Again, he's not 21. I didn't have a drink. I had planned to have a drink, but it was kind of weird with COVID, and it just, I'm glad I didn't. We really didn't have time because I was kind of rushing. We had dinner plans at a steakhouse. Can't remember the name of the steakhouse. It was fantastic though, but it was super expensive. It was hard to get to and park. So I'm not going to even go down that rabbit hole. All right. So again, I mentioned in the travel episode, be prepared to stand in line. Be prepared to walk. Be prepared to be tired and hot. Make sure you are staying extremely hydrated. You can take in a water bottle with you if you'd like and fill your water up. I will say some of the fountains and stuff were closed because of COVID. I'm not sure. I just went ahead and bought bottled water. I was like, forget it. I want some cold water. But we did have a bottle with us just in case that was necessary. So keep that in mind for hydration. Lines are going to be long. And it gives you an idea of how long the wait is at the top of the name of the ride, so you can make an informed decision. Sometimes once you're in line halfway through, the time drastically changes and you get there a little bit quicker, or it takes a little bit longer. I'll say the ones I remember standing in line the longest would be Seven Dwarfs, Space Mountain. Avatar really honestly wasn't that bad. Had we gone later in the day, it might have been rough. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Star Tours wasn't even that bad. Millennium Falcon was bad, but I think it was just the time of day we went, because by the time we got almost in, the time changed dramatically, and like it didn't take any time to get in. So be aware of stuff like that and just try to time yourself so that you can eat when you're ready, you can rest when you're ready, and that type of thing. But you do, even as a non-plus size person, I saw young teenagers, regular size, and young adults hanging on each other, tired, sitting down where they could sit. I mean, I would lean against stuff absolutely as much as I could. So even though, you may not be a plus size person, I would keep in mind the heat and all the standing and walking and how much that does take a toll on you, no matter the size you are. Of course, being a bigger person, it takes more energy to do things, and you might be a little bit more tired. And of course, there's more weight on your feet, so you might be in a little bit more pain than others who are not plus size. But for anyone, just be cognizant of that. So what did we have in our bags? I had a little bag. I kind of wish I had gotten a bigger bag, but I will link all the stuff that I used in the description and on the blog post, just so you guys can see what we used. But I had a little bag that could go around your back, and then I had a fanny pack that I use as a purse all the time. So my brother carried the bag, I carried the fanny pack. We each had our own hand sanitizer. I carried cash and cards in my fanny pack. And we had our wristbands on, which you could pay for stuff with, which was great. So if you had a card attached to your wristband, you could just ding it and maybe put in a pin, and it was great. You don't have to fool and fumble with stuff. And so we had that. Then in the book bag, we had a charger so that I could charge the phones if necessary. I never really needed to. A lot of our pictures were taken through the $100 thing, so I didn't really use the phone a lot. We did take our own pictures, but we didn't drain our phones. So we had the battery pack to charge. We had the water bottle that I mentioned. We had raincoats or ponchos. I gotten some Mickey ones off of Amazon. So we had the ponchos. Then I had like a little first aid kit, so like Band-Aids, Neosporin, Advil, nausea medicine, upset stomach medicine. I carried all that stuff. That may be the nurse in me, but we had that with us as well. And then I had like Lysol spray. I had wipes that you could clean stuff with, so like for the toilet and stuff like that. We had all of that. And so that's pretty much all we carried. Then I had a neck fan. The neck fan was a lifesaver. If I had to go back and do a different one, I would. So I'll kind of research what I would think would probably work best. If you're a sweater like me and get hot real easily, I bought one for me and my brother. He never even really used his. And I also had this little fan thing that you plug into your cell phone, and it goes off the power of the cell phone and spins. So I had my neck fan. I had that. I had a towel. Kept a towel in the bag as well. I had a towel. I had on a hat. We use sunscreen every day. Even though we're black, I made him put on sunscreen because the old myths aren't necessarily true. Everyone needs to use sunscreen when they're in the sun for extended periods of time. And so, yeah, that's what we had in our bags. That's what we used. We never even pulled out the ponchos. The rainstorm, the one time that it stormed horribly was at Hollywood Studios, and I was waiting to get my food or had just gotten my food. So we just sat there until it went away. It was actually a thunderstorm. And we just waited there until it was over. It was quick. It wasn't an all-day thing. We never pulled out the ponchos, just FYI. Different days may bring different things. The day that it rained at Animal Kingdom, we just enjoyed it. Again, didn't last long. So, all right. I think that is everything that I want to talk about. I did not ever imagine this being a 40-minute episode. I know some people like longer episodes, so hopefully you enjoy. Hopefully these tips and tricks or information and tips will be helpful to you, and that if you're going to Disney anytime soon, you'll use them, or you'll use them to help you make a decision where do you go. So if you're a plus size person, by all means, if you have the stamina to do it, go for it. It's so much fun. It's so worth it if you like that kind of stuff. All right. And that is it for today. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Black and White of It podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we truly, greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Black and White of It podcast.